Yo, what's going on, guys? Blue here, coming at you with a brand new video. Today we're going to be looking at Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, and my honest review and things I'm just kind of worried about. Just overall my opinion of everything. There's definitely some positives, but there is definitely a lot of things that are kind of on the fence and are a bit concerning. So there's going to be a lot of little topics that I'm going to go over. I kind of got a list here I'm going to go down. So just to start off, obviously I didn't get to play Warzone 2, but we have seen quite a bit of gameplay. I think the map looks great, but as far as Modern Warfare 2 goes, obviously I've played that a bunch. Played a lot of it on console the first weekend. Haven't played too much of the PC beta, but I got enough to get the feel of the game. The core game feels okay, feels solid, but a lot of changes can be made. So as far as Warzone 2 goes, like the looting and backpack system, I think the backpack system's pretty interesting. It is a bit weird. It seems like the backpack's super small. So if you pick up AR ammo, it fills the slot of the backpack, not separately. And if you're picking up a bunch of ammo, your backpack's full and you can't pick up anything else that's not ammo. So the backpack system's pretty cool. Unfortunately, like it is a bit clunky due to like the ammo thing filling your backpack and whatever's going on with the plate thing. You can only hold like 3 plates at a time. But if they clean up the backpack system, I think the backpack can actually be a really good change going forward with Warzone. I actually like that idea. They just need to make it less clunky and kind of smooth out the inventory management side of it in terms of how ammo works with the backpack. And then also as far as looting goes, kind of tying in with that, a lot of people didn't like the way the looting looked, especially if you're on a controller. You're kind of having to open the chest and then scroll through the chest rather than on a mouse and keyboard. You just hit the chest and then click what you want. You know, the chest thing personally doesn't really bother me. I haven't obviously done it. I haven't used the chest in person yet, but just from looking at it, it doesn't seem like it could be that big of a deal. Apparently, I don't know if this is true. People had told me that I think it was Tommy, another streamer, during that COD Next event, he actually changed some setting that made the chest loot come out of the chest, kind of like the original Warzone 1 chests do. So I don't know if that's true or if that's an actual setting, but if that's the case, then that will kind of fix the looting issue that people have with chests if it can just come out like the original Warzone chests do. So that would be cool if they had a setting for both ways of looting chests. Other than that, as far as looting goes, I think it's pretty solid. I know, like I said, a lot of people didn't like the looting, but like when you kill an enemy, for example, all the loot spread out on the ground flat and very separated and not bunched up together. Now, if you know in Warzone 1, let's say you kill a guy, he's got a satchel, obviously his 2 guns, equipment, it's all bunched up into the satchel and you can't even pick up what you want to pick up. You're sitting there spamming your loot button trying to pick up the right item, but in this it's all spread out and very organized. All right, then next, getting into the buy stations, which obviously, like I said, I haven't gotten to use personally, but based on what we can see, I think you can buy weapons, you can upgrade your weapons, and then you can access like the kill streaks and equipment. It's sort of like 3 different subcategories. I could be wrong on that, but that's basically what it is. A lot of people were very concerned when it comes to loadouts because in the playtest they actually didn't have their custom loadout guns, and obviously there isn't a loadout purchase item. But how that's going to work is you build your custom 5 attachment gun like at the main menu. So you build an M4 with your 5 attachments that you like, for example, and then when you get into the Warzone match, you go into the buy station and just buy that upgraded 5 attachment gun that you made. Instead of buying a loadout drop and throwing the red smoke and then grabbing it from a crate, you're just buying it straight out of the buy station. Apparently there is not going to be any perks, which I'm actually okay with that. If you guys know, like Ghost, Combat Scout, Serpentine, mainly those 3 are the most annoying perks to deal with. At the same time though, the buy stations definitely could be cleaned up a bit. I didn't really get to take a good look at them, but a lot of people were concerned about the loadout thing, and that is how that's gonna work. And there's another thing going on I was also kind of paying attention to during COD Next. Seems like there's only like a limited amount of like UAVs you could buy, for example, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But I did notice what's pretty cool is you can just buy equipment straight up out of the buy station. So if you have, it doesn't even matter what you're running. If you're running stims on your loadout and you use your last stim, you go to a buy station, you can just buy 1 individual stim from the buy station, or buy 1 individual flash grenade, or whatever kind of equipment. Just buy that individual item from the buy station. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool change. Instead of just buying like a muni box just for equipment, you buy that individual equipment straight out for a much cheaper price. And then sort of back to what I was saying at the beginning, the Warzone 2 map, Al Mazrah, a lot of cool POIs. You know, we got Terminal, Dome, High Rise, Quarry, Rust is in there. It's not in the main POI, but you guys will see it. It's sort of hidden. Rust is on the map. There's a lot of classic POI. Showdown definitely looks a lot better than Caldera. I also am liking the sort of desert setting. That's definitely something different. And then also another big one is the zone. So they got the new zone splitting system. We saw 3. Apparently they did say that it can be up to 4 different zones at one time, and I'm talking about safe zones, which can be very, very interesting. Could definitely change the whole flow of a match. Could either slow your game down or potentially speed it up. If a ton of people get trapped in one of the 3 circles, it's going to narrow down that playing field a lot. It depends on the match, right? It depends where people are going to be, but the whole flow of the match can completely get turned upside down depending on where the lobby is at the time of the zone split. And here's a big one, the bots or AI in the game. I thought this was kind of an interesting thing at first. Obviously, now that I've played Invasion or Ground War, whatever you want to call it, it's almost like there's more AI than actual players, which is just absolutely just stupid. And then as far as seeing it in Warzone, there's just an absurd amount of AI in the Warzone gameplay that we've seen. There needs to be 0 AI in multiplayer and in Warzone. I think they need to strictly leave AI for DMZ. If you guys know Escape from Tarkov, it's sort of like what DMZ is going to be like. There definitely should be AI in that mode and that mode only. Now, if you're going to have AI in Warzone, only have them at the strongholds. But other than that, they shouldn't be in random buildings. That's just very excessive and just completely ruins the whole like just pacing of the game. So I think the AI is a very, very bad idea and a very bad path to go down. And so I really hope they change that. Next up, we got armor satchels. So spawn in like with 2 plates, just like always. You spawn in your Warzone game, but you don't have the ability to put a 3rd plate on to be fully plated. You have to first find a 3-plate vest, then you can put on the 3-plate. And I think it's a cool concept and all, but it kind of just is an unnecessary change. Like, it's cool, right? You find your 3-plate vest and then you can put on the 3rd plate. But I think that's just kind of a pointless change. I think they should keep armor satchels the exact same as they are in Warzone 1. So the whole 3-plate vest thing, I don't think is a good idea. The new Gulag, another kind of like just like the AI. I don't know what they're doing with the Gulag. 2v2 with AIs in it and like a key. The 2v2, you're not even guaranteed to have your teammate. It's most likely going to be a random. The new Gulag just looks horrendous, so I really hope they revert that. I don't think anyone was a fan of that Gulag. Yeah, I don't know what they would think of that one. Cool concept, I guess, but in terms of just fluidity, you go into the Gulag, right? Instead of it being a one-on-one and the fight being on you if you lose, you could just get a complete bot teammate or whatever, and then you end up losing the 1v2 essentially because your teammate has no idea what's going on. Let's talk about weapons and attachment. The gunplay is pretty cool. The attachment sort of like, you know, Modern Warfare 2019. There's a lot of different sights and sort of the similar grips. It seems like they definitely got more grips this time around and stocks and stuff like that. And that's cool and all, but this whole like Gunsmith 2.0, I think it's called, or whatever it is, with the different receivers, I think it's a cool concept. I think for the casual player, it's definitely going to be super confusing on how a lot of that works. You know, you level up one gun to unlock attachments for a different gun and so on and so forth. Personally, it doesn't really bother me, but from a casual standpoint, it could definitely get a bit confusing. When it comes to the gunplay and all that, I feel like they, you know, it's Call of Duty, right? At the end of the day, it's Call of Duty. Guns don't have recoil. In this game, guns do have recoil, right? But it's a lot of visual recoil. The whole muzzle flash and muzzle smoke, when you're actually shooting somebody, you can't even see what you're shooting at because of all the muzzle flash and muzzle smoke that comes out of your gun. It's like blurry. And so if you're just going and having a one-on-one gunfight and you're trying to shoot a guy 50 feet away, or whatever distance, you can't even see him most of the time because of all the stuff that's going on with the muzzle. Sort of back to the buy station thing, when it comes to money and the spawn rate of money on the map, when it comes to buying your custom gun, you know, if we don't know the pricing, what the final pricing is going to be, but you know, if your individual gun's 10K and you want to buy both of your guns, so you have, you know, an AR and a sub, what's that going to be? 20,000, 15,000, 30,000? We don't know how much that's going to be. And it just seems like the money spawn rate on the ground doesn't seem like it's a high enough spawn rate for it to keep up with that whole buy station dynamic. So I don't know if that was just they didn't have it coded properly in the build or what, but hopefully they balance out the money spawn rate and stuff in the buy station so it kind of flows nicely and you're not sitting there looting money for 20 minutes just to get one gun type thing. And now audio, so footstep audio and just the game audio in general. I think footstep audio is okay, sort of just like how Warzone 1 is now. The vertical audio, like up and down, so if someone's above you or someone's below you, I noticed there's actually a pretty good improvement. The vertical audio seems a lot better than it was previously, so that's a good change. There is just a lot of unnecessary audio, just like ambient stuff that, you know, I wish there was just 20 different volume sliders for everything that you could individually adjust. But overall, the audio isn't terrible. The footstep audio is so good that it sort of just, you know, people can just sit and hold an angle and just listen for footsteps and just win the fight every single time. If you guys have been playing the Modern Warfare 2 beta, you know how everyone's playing. Everyone's just sitting back and holding angles and just listening for footsteps. And yeah, Modern Warfare 2 sort of weird, super slow paced. The people that are just playing passive are doing better than the people that are playing aggressive. I think there's something a little wrong there, but my opinion, of course. The visibility doesn't seem too terrible. Just depends on the area, right? If you're in a building and the lighting's low and you're wearing an all black outfit, you know, it's sort of the same thing as we saw in Warzone and in Modern Warfare 2019 is, you know, they're going to be hard to see. Getting over to vehicles. If you guys know me, man, I love messing around with vehicles, vehicle plays, seat swaps, all that stuff. You guys see me do it all the time on stream and in the YouTube videos. So there's so many new vehicle mechanics that I'm so excited to mess around with and get really good at. And if you've seen in the recent one of the recent videos, I was actually messing with it in the ground war mode. Now you can lean out the window. Even as the driver, you could lean out the window and shoot. You can also climb from your seat directly onto the roof. So now there's 3 different ways to do car plays. So yeah, it's you guys already know, man. It's gonna be a blast messing around with cars. Definitely one of the most positive changes I've seen. Movement, one of the biggest topics talked about for sure. Slide canceling, right? It's not supposed to be in the game. There is the workaround myself and others have been doing. There's a couple different ways to do it. It's not as smooth as Modern Warfare 2019 or Warzone 1, but as far as just movement as a whole, sliding it in and out of itself is just super duper clunky. You can't even shoot while you're sliding, and the slide itself just feels like you're in like mud. Bee hopping feels amazing. Drop shotting, it's a little different, but basically drop shotting's pretty much the same. The main thing is the slide canceling and just the fluidity of the movement, you know, combining, you know, if you guys watched my movement guide, the combinations of different movements. Me personally, I'm okay with change. It's definitely going to take a lot to get used to in practice, which is fine, but they either need to completely remove this slide cancel workaround and just clean up the slide itself, or just take sliding out completely. I don't really see anybody utilizing the dolphin dive that much. I'd be okay with them just taking out sliding as a whole and just having where you can just only dolphin dive. I hope they will speed up the animation of the dolphin dive in terms of when you can, you know, you sort of dive and then you have to sit there for a second before you can either shoot or get up. So hopefully they speed up the fluidity. Proximity chat. So proximity chat in Warzone is going to be crazy in my opinion. And like a solos match, for example, me and an enemy are in a building. He's on the 2nd floor and I'm on like the 1st. I can be talking to him as I'm pushing him. So proximity chat's going to be cool. I'm excited to see how that plays out. Unfortunately, it also is going to lead to a lot of weird things. You know, people just saying crazy stuff in game chat. You guys can already assume and just kind of understand the path I'm going down there. So there's going to be a lot of funny things and cool things that happen with proximity chat and just funny moments, but there is unfortunately going to definitely be some bad with it. I kind of want to touch on the quality of life changes that they made with Warzone 1 and how they're not in Warzone 2. A big one being like redeploy balloons. I don't really know why they're getting rid of redeploy balloons. I think that was a great feature and a good way to get around the map. I think they would honestly play really good on the new map. Maybe it's something they're going to add in the future, but yeah, definitely redeploy balloons should be a thing. As well with the lootable perks, right? Lootable perks was a great change to Warzone 1, but I think since they are going down the route of no perks being in loadouts, that's probably why they're not going to have lootable perks. Also the mini map in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer as of right now, I don't know how it's going to work in Warzone 2, but in Modern Warfare 2, if you're shooting an unsuppressed gun, the red dot doesn't show up on the mini map, and I think, you know, 95+% of the community doesn't like that. People want to see it change, and they've even acknowledged that they're hearing the feedback and they're not going to change it as of right now, which I don't know what's going on with that. Also want to touch on SBMM. My take on it is public matches shouldn't have skill-based matchmaking, and they should always have a ranked mode out with the launch of the game. which has skill-based matchmaking, of course. And when it comes to performance, so I did play the whole weekend of the PlayStation 5 beta on keyboard and mouse. The game actually ran very, very good on console. Playing it on PlayStation wasn't terrible, except for the fact that I did have a little bit of mouse input delay since I was playing mouse and keyboard on a console. But as far as the game ran phenomenal. But when it comes to PC, I know the first day of the PC beta and, you know, the days following, ton of crashes. I had a few crashes. I did update to the newest drivers, so that fixed the crashing for me for the most part. But I know a lot of other people are having a ton of crashing issues and just performance issues in general. So hopefully they sort that out, because performance and you know, the stability of the game itself is one of the most important things. Also, I haven't seen any personally cheaters. There's apparently a bunch of people cheating on the beta already, which is just crazy to me. So hopefully they clean that up. I mean, I know Ricochet 2.0 is supposed to be in the full release of the games. I don't know if it's in the beta, but I'm sure it'll be cleaned up for the full release of Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. But you know, it's just unacceptable that people are just cheating on a beta. And the last thing I want to touch on, and I know I probably missed a few points here and there, but I tried to like think of everything I could to touch on as far as the games go and what I wanted to talk about and the things I'm worried about. Sort of a question is Warzone 2 overdone? Like, are they overdoing it and overextending and trying to reach to different areas when they don't need to? It seems like the devs are kind of adding a lot of new things, we'll call it, you know, pushing away the fundamentals of Warzone 1. So what that is like all these different changes we sort of just talked about, right? The buy station, the way the loadout works, the AIs, the looting, you know, the armor system, just so many different things are sort of pushing away from what made Warzone 1 great. They're trying to make Warzone 2 sort of not Warzone in a way. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still very excited. You know, cleaning up the looting was great, but there is a couple extra things that they did, like the way the chests work and stuff like that, unnecessary. But cleaning up the way looting is placed on the ground, that's great. The loadouts, you know, I'm okay with if it works the way it's supposed to work, with just buying your gun out of the buy station. But yeah, and a lot of people are upset about the way the loadouts are going to work. Another fundamental thing is the movement, right? As far, you know, as much as I am okay with change, the movement is what made Warzone 1 fun for me personally, and a lot of other people, right? Everything was just fluid. There was no delay, there was no clunkiness. It was everything across the board was fluid, combining different movements, doing different combinations, and just moving, and just everything about it was fluid. Now you look at Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2, doing all those things combined, it's extremely clunky. You know, a lot of big people are putting out videos and, you know, on social media and stuff, just saying all the issues straight up. So hopefully they're listening, and you know, it'd be cool to see, you know, the devs actually respond and maybe clean some stuff up and actually listen to their community, because right now they're sort of like turning a cold shoulder to us, and it's kind of concerning. So that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, if you could drop a like and subscribe to the channel, comment down below any other new things you have in mind, or concerns, or anything you'd like to see changed or added to the game. Like I said, I definitely covered a lot of different topics, but I'm sure there is a few things that I did miss. But nonetheless, man, have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.